that's not good. So we just went through a door entryway, and here is a slightly pitched working, but here is something really cool. Mule-Barn. This is literally a Mule-Barn. And there's troughs here for water and hay. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Pretty decent sized Mule-Barn too. So here we are in the Mule-Barn, and you can see those poured concrete troughs. That's exciting. That's neat. And they reinforced the mule stable itself with mine rail. That is narrow gauge mine rail right there in the vertical position. And it also designated the stables themselves. There's 3 pieces of mine rail per stable. Very cool. Another angle of this mule stable. This thing is cool. You do not see these a lot. Hay and water. That's what they would have had. And over there is a mule passageway that I was showing. An internal slope. Probably go onto the overhead workings. Or just taking a detour. It might go up and come back down. There's a little side working. So I'm standing in one of the stables themselves on a higher level because I'm on cave-in. You can see the actual troughs. But where there would have been floor, there's what looks like a subsidence, but tells me that they most likely were robbing. And there's the coal vein. So yeah, they were removing coal supports, and it washed out the floor. But I guess underneath the mule stables themselves at one time was solid unrobbed coal. So they kind of destroyed the mule stables, but they weren't using the mule stables. They would have done this in the 50s and 60s, maybe even during World War II. This is a shame, but this is what you often see in the mines. So this water trough, I assume. You can see the beautiful concrete work. It's full of oil. I don't know if that's PCB oil or if that's just regular motor oil. But again, they were using this as an impromptu work area after the mules were moved out. But that is just solid, nasty, gunky oil. PCB oil is really nasty. I'm not going to find out. I could dip my finger in there or something. There's that subsidence in the Mule-Barn. And there's where it goes to. It goes to the natural aquifer level. That is all AMD muck. You could get smoked if you go on that. First of all, you would slide down and get hurt. But that's just so thick and nasty. This is a walkway for the workers in between the stables. So yeah, this is just the halfway point. So the workers can walk in between the stables themselves. And there's a tie down for a mule. with the bridle. That's cool. Very beautiful. Kind of surreal to think that animals were here. Here's where the troughs are. So these are all full of water or oil. And right there's a coal vein. Staring the mules right in the face was a anthracite coal vein. So this isn't the best example of a gob pile, G-O-B-P-I-L-E, but it's called gobbing. This one has since collapsed to a certain degree because there was a massive collapse behind it. But anthracite mining was room and pillar mining, meaning they would mine coal, leave coal, mine coal, leave coal. People often think that the timber supports held up the mine itself. That was just an early detecting system, in a sense, if the roof was coming down. These coal supports in between where they mined the coal. See, there's voidage there, coal here, voidage there. This is a somewhat robbed pillar, but it's still there to a certain degree. But when they would pull the coal supports, often they would gob with these walls, and that was just a term they used, gob piles. But this became load bearing. They would build these right up to the roof from the floor. So these took over as a man-made coal pillar, in a sense, being load bearing. And these rocks would squeeze together and take the weight of the mine roof. So I'm standing in a mule stable, and this is another hole that they made when they were robbing out the coal. You can see how close to the mule stable it was. My friend's taking a photo there. That's the light you're seeing. So you can see how the coal's at an incline, pitch upward. Don't see too much robbing of coal in mule stables, but they figured the mine was going bye-bye, so they might as well get all the rest of the easy coal out. Look at that thick black oil in a trough. Man, hopefully the ghost of the mules is not drinking that. Woo! That is gross. That could be old transformer oil for all I know. Again, the PCB oil. Probably not. I don't really smell anything. Actually has no smell. Second though, I think PCB oil doesn't have a smell. Whatever. That's some bad stuff though. Another look at one of many mule stables in this mine. You can see it's cracking, unfortunately. I don't know if they sprayed a whitewash here to reflect light. Kind of looks like they did, but at the same time it looks like a natural calcium. But it matches the mule stables perfectly. So I'm going to say that they sprayed that roof white also. And why they would do that, it was just to reflect light. So the mules can see, and the workers tending the mules could see easier. Because they didn't have lights like this back in the day. Yeah, this will crumble on its own, unfortunately. Now that crack could have occurred when they were robbing out the coal too, though. Look at these troughs. Man, wish I could have that kind of concrete work done today. But this concrete will last 1,000 years. It's over 100. Here's a good back shot showing a typical mule stable. So right there, I think that's a tie down for the rope. And if I was a guessing person, I would say that this is for 2 mules. And right there is a beautiful vein of anthracite. I would say 2 mules side by side. Here is the last mule stable, furthest from the entrance of the mule stable. And you can see they're pretty uniform in size. Look how bad this is. Whoa. It's not too bad. It's more like slippage running down from the steepness of the pitch of the coal. It's not necessarily cave-in. It is cave-in, but it's not. It's runoff. Avalanche, if you will, of rock. Nonetheless, could hurt you. It's not good. And there's more cracking there. More oil in one of the troughs. I guess this was a water trough. Or maybe that's the water trough. Maybe this is the hay trough. I'm going to say maybe it's the hay because it's deeper. It's all relative. There's that massive slippage. Tie-up spot for the mule. Old school miner's muck boot. Okay, so right outside of the Mule-Barn where they were doing some more pillar robbing, which is also known as retreat mining, that's what has plugged one of the gaps that they were creating. That's a big slab of rock. That's enough to do you in many times over. There's all the mule stables. All lined up. So this is most likely a filled in entrance. I don't know if it's a vertical or a steep slope. Could very well be a vertical air shaft. You can see the outside dirt where a truck or an excavator back in the day would have came and dumped. We did not come in from this way. This is just plugged. It's toast. Other side of a backfill. This tree is so roached. Oh my god. That is just... So right here, this crack occurred, I'm gonna say with certainty, due to the pillar robbing. You do not see old animal mule barns. These just don't exist. So rare. There is a miner's muck boot that has collapsed into the hole in one of the old mule stables. Voidage. So this is called bottom rock. This is what the coal sat on. You can see anthracite coal right there. Top rock. So between the top rock and bottom rock, there's the coal. And this is at a 15-degree pitch maybe. But that's wet. That is nasty. I've taken quite a number of slides down these. This is treachery. You have to be careful. Literally like ice. I'm in one of these mule stables looking up the pitch of coal. There's gobbing. So again, they removed the coal and then they stacked it with rock to become load bearing. And look at that timber. That is why you timber in the mines. See that warning device? That is snapped. Whew. There's one that's went out. I was going to say it's going out. It went out. That one's more intact. But yeah, the roof settled. Wouldn't want to agitate that. Wouldn't you guess it? Another oil-filled trough. Man, so they had all this oil. Like, where do we dump it? Like, don't dump it on the ground. Dump it in the water troughs. Or hay trough, whatever. That is deep, too. That's like 2 feet. Ugh. So there's this pretty good crack in the roof in the Mule-Barn. You can see it goes there, continues all around, goes all the way. Probably goes all the way up to the face of coal. Not quite, but he assumed it did. So they were worried about, they being the miners, were worried about this coming down, obviously, and killing animals and people. So an early detection device, in a sense, was just a wedge of wood. So there's a piece of wood literally wedged into that crack. And if that stayed tight, they knew that it wasn't moving. They just gently hammered it in there. They didn't really agitate it too hard. But the thinking was, if they would touch it and if it was loose, they would know that that rock was coming down. So as long as it stayed tight and snug, they knew that rock wasn't moving. And wouldn't you know, it's still snug. So this is a bit of a special treat. This is a rare office. Still got green trim. Like a neon Art Deco 50s green. This is the lamp house, and the fire boss would hand out flame safety lamps through this little neon green window. There's a piece of rebar in it so people can't sneak through, I guess. And on the other side there's Victorian era window latches. What's cool about this is it's driven through solid coal. The whole thing's coal, but look at that coal. Beautiful anthracite coal. There's where a lampshade used to be, but has rotted off or someone took it off. Inside of the office. And right there, that would have, at one time, had a glass frame. Seen so many mines that used to have these, but they're all gone, fortunately. People usually destroy them. It'd be a piece of paper framed, talking about the rules of the mines and the regulations and all this, and safety notices. That's long gone, and look how long it was there for. It's just discolored from where it sat for so many decades. There's some more coal. Here's the other side of coal. Inside of the office, look at these retro greens. Oh man, it's such a lime 50s green. There's a mount for light. So here is that window that I think the fire boss would hand out the lamps. Again, lime green. There's an electrical light switch. You wouldn't believe this. Miner's boots. Phenomenal. This concrete lasts forever. Check out these Victorian window door hinges, in a sense. That would be a locking mechanism for the little hatch to close. I think this definitely was the fire boss's lamp window. So you'd stand here and the miners would come through there, and I don't know if they would swap tags out. It could be like a tag check. But regardless, this was probably where the safety lamps were handed out. It's insane. Have definitively proved that this is in fact the Fire Boss handout spot for the lamps, because there is the wooden pegboard for the check tags, and these check tags had numbers on them, anywhere from like 1 to several hundred, 1 till 999. But they handed a lamp out, and there was an exchange with that tag, and that told you at the end of the day, if you didn't hand in your lamp, the tag would be hanging up, and they would know that so-and-so was still in their work area or wherever, and they can go look for you. That is so cool! So this would just have little nails on it, and each one of these dots would be a miner. That's amazing! Another one of these beautiful windows. Lime green coat rack. Retro. So again, there's where they hand out the lamps. Door. Miner's boot. Multiple shelving. Not a heater, by the way. Could have been, they might just took it out. Looks like a chair. Another shelving. Other side of the office. There's an old work locker. There's a beautiful vein of anthracite coal. Wraps all up and over the office itself. And there's another one of those gobbing piles I was talking about. So they extracted the coal physically there, and then they put the rock in so it would become load bearing to take stress off of the roof. Look at that vein of coal. Nice. Old paperwork from this mine. Still got signatures from the personnel in ink. That's insane. The latest date I see on is 1947, but there's dates from the 1800s and 20s. 1920s. It's cool. Old school miner's boots. Probably 20s or 30s. Pot for cooking. Interesting. Another angle of the lamp house, Fire Boss mine flame safety lamp handout spot. There's that checkboard. So this is like the main part of the mine. This is like the main artery. This is where your shift would begin and end. So sadly, for whatever reason, they just placed gob rock where people would have patiently waited in line for probably 100 years overall over the lifetime of this mine to get their lamps. Kind of sad. Looks like the supports for an air door, and the door would swing out to block the gangway if they had to vent different areas of the mine. So it's an airflow door. So that's the current state of condition of the office. There's the fire boss. Flame lamp window. You really don't see any of these. Such a treat. And that little lake dock, literally like something out of a lake. Like Crystal Lake, if you know what I mean. I don't know what was going on there. I guess it was another landing or something. With the airflow. If you step on that platform, you're going through and you're taking a ride. You're taking a really cool ride, but it's probably going to be the last ride you're taking. You become hypothermic if you knock yourself out. And maybe someone could go get help, but yeah, no one's going to help you. You're toast. Your light would go out, that's the end of you. But again, there's concrete all here. We're good. We'll never go. Even in that. Nope, too much loose fill. Water-filled air shaft. Oh yeah.